a dyslexic person. Statistically, and according to the United States Department of Health and Human Resources, the chances of you knowing a dyslexic person is relatively high, with over 15% of the US population being estimated to have dyslexia. With that being said, today I will be discussing the history, symptoms, and attributes of dyslexia, along with different therapies and treatments used on dyslexic patients. Moving on to the history of dyslexia, and as recorded by Yale University, dyslexia was discovered in 1896 by an English doctor named W. Pringle Morgan, who discovered dyslexia and classified it as a learning disorder rather than a low IQ after observing a, quote, bright and intelligent boy who struggled with reading. At this time, virtually all learning disorders or disabilities were classified as having a low IQ rather than a learning disorder. However, after observing the boy, Dr. Morgan realized that his creativity he displayed in games did not match his reading ability. In fact, scientists during this time were confused as to why and how so many seemingly bright and intelligent individuals weren't able to read, and thus scientists investigated the issue further. Ultimately, because of the perplexing nature of this unknown disorder, considerable research has been done since Dr. Morgan's original discovery, and there now exists an abundance of information regarding dyslexia and its effects and symptoms. Continuing on, for many dyslexic people, early symptoms and telltale signs of dyslexia display themselves in early childhood, elementary years, where reading, writing, and speech articulation skills are rapidly developing. However, for dyslexic students, this time can often be frustrating and confusing as they struggle to relate to course material that other students have no problem with. These academic challenges may lead some to believe that dyslexic students have a low IQ, yet research has indicated that virtually all dyslexics have an average to above average IQ that would enable most people to read and write fluently. Considering the fact that the majority of dyslexics have an average to above average IQ, it is no surprise then that through different cognitive therapies and techniques that many dyslexics can compensate and overcome their disabilities through these therapies. Additionally, while it is true that there is no cure for dyslexia, many dyslexics have utilized their senses in therapy, such as through sight and touch, to help in this therapy. That being said, each individual is different, and through tutoring and specific lessons, their individual educational needs will need to be assessed and met. Nevertheless, while tutoring services prove to be highly beneficial, starting treatment early is crucial, as many later diagnosed will often have trouble learning and decoding new techniques to combat their dyslexia. This notwithstanding, some of the standardized proactive ways to treat dyslexia is simply learning to recognize the history, symptoms, and common attributes of dyslexia to then be able to treat dyslexia through different therapy and techniques we just discussed. I hope you all have now learned a little bit more about dyslexia and are now able to gain a further understanding of what dyslexia truly is. Thank you all for listening.